everyone, it's Holly Marie King, and I am here to read The Confusing Kidnap, Chapter 7. So, let's get started. Chapter 7, Things Start Getting Worse. I'm so happy you're here, the girl exclaimed, almost skipping up the stairs. Helen was still on Andrew's back. The two just stared at each other. Why would you be happy to see us? Andrew whispered to Helen. She shrugged. Ron, guess what? They're here. I told you they were real and not some people I made up, the girl said to a boy who was sitting at a desk and hunched over paper writing furiously. Two ghosts hovered over him. There! You made another mistake. I win, one of the ghosts exclaimed, making Ellen and Helen jump. Josh, cut that out. You know Ronnie will get mad at you if you do that too many times, the girl said, her hands on her hips. Monica, why are there people in our home? Ron asked, who had just discovered that there were people there. These are the people I told you about, Monica said happily. Helen was still perched on Andrew's shoulders. Are you tired yet? She asked. It's fine, don't worry about it, Andrew said with a smile. Would you like to have a seat? Josh asked, motioning to a chair. Shut up, Josh, you don't even know these people, Ron said irritably. He scribbled at his work. Allison came out of nowhere. Are you accusing my Helen of being evil? She had Ron backed up against a wall. This is all over the place. No, not at all. Nice little demon, he said, shaking in fear. Allison chuckled. Good. She went back into Helen. Sorry about that. She's kind of protective of me, Helen said, chuckling nervously. She was scratching the back of her head. Andrew moved to the couch and sat down carefully. Are you okay? He asked. Yeah, you can stand up now, Helen said. Andrew sat next to her, John sat next to him, and Ellen sat on the other side of Helen. Reggie, would you like to sit down? That's fine, dear, I can stand, Reggie said. He looked very tired. Andrew, can I sit on you? Helen whispered. Andrew looked at her strangely. So your father can sit? Yeah, that's fine, he said. Helen moved slowly onto Andrew's lap. Oh, Maker. There you go. Now you can have a seat, Helen said with an angelic smile. Thank you, dear. Reggie sat down. No one seems weird that she's sitting on a married man's lap. I know she's dead, but she is a ghost. Can they say the night, Ronnie? Please, 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 Monica asked excitedly. Fine. If they want to stay, they can, Ron said with a sigh. He went back to scribbling on his paper. Yay! I'll go get you all something to sleep in. Monica ran downstairs. Helen yawned. Andrew felt so warm, it was making her sleepy. I think it's time for us to go get some sleep, Helen said. Her eyes were feeling heavy. She fell asleep without realizing it. A nightmare went through her mind that night. Sweat ran down her face while she slept. She tossed and turned. So, you're replacing me, a voice called in her dreams. Who's there? She heard herself say. I told you, I would always watch over you. A cold shiver went up Helen's spine. It was Troy. He came closer and closer to her. You're mine. Ah! Helen screamed and sat up in her bed. Someone had put her in the bed she was in and covered her. She breathed heavily and cold sweat dripped from her nose. She could still hear Troy's voice. A tear ran down her cheek because, Helen always cries. Because that's the way you solve all your problems. It's just, let's cry about it first. And then solve it. So, awake now? Then we can go. Troy came over and picked Helen up. She struggled. Let me go! Alice! Andrew! John! Burke! Somebody help me! Helen screamed. Troy broke the window and flew away. Andrew had been the first to hear Helen screaming in her sleep. The sun was just rising. He saw a man hovering over Helen. He had a hand over her head. Hey! Get away from her! Andrew got up quickly, but the man fled through the window. Andrew knelt next to Helen. Where are you? Helen screamed. Andrew tried to calm her down, but he couldn't do anything. Maria, can you help her sleep? Andrew asked. Maria woke up and yawned. The beautiful maiden stared at the girl. I have no idea if she can be helped. I believe all we can do is wake her up, she said. She doesn't want to help her. She's moving in on her man. I'm just kidding. That's not what's really happening. Helen screaming woke all the others up, well, except for their hostesses. What's all this racket? Ellen asked, yawning and rubbing her sleepy eyes. I don't know. Some guy was standing over her. He jumped out that window, Andrew said, pointing. Allison came out of Helen quickly. He did what now? She demanded. How does she not know? She's like in her mind all the time. Like, really? Nothing. He was just standing over her. His hand was just above her face. That's it, Andrew said, leaning back to get Allison out of his face. Allison sighed. Perfect. I'll wake her up just a second. Allison disappeared. Let me go, Troy. Please stop this. I don't want to be here anymore, Helen cried. She beat against metal bars. You'll be here forever. Fairly soon, Troy said. No, she won't. Allison's voice sounded in the darkness. You think you can help her? It's too late. She's almost mine, Troy yelled. Helen, this is a dream. He's turning you into a demon. Andrew is kneeling over you. Maria is standing behind him. Ellen is watching you while she stands and rubs the sleep from her eyes. John is sitting up in bed next to you. Reggie is sitting next to your head. Burke, Natalie, and Rosie are all having tea. And I'm right here, because it's important that they're having tea. You're not alone. Don't let him take you, Allison hollered. Don't listen to her, Helen. We were meant for each other. Stalker much? Troy's hands reached through the bars, but Helen stepped back. Allison, help me out, Helen cried, looking around. Think of someone you want to see again, the one person you want to see again. Allison said. Okay, Helen muttered. She thought of Andrew. She had been getting close to him, and she knew he was committed to his wife. So, in order to make him happy, Helen promised herself right then and there that she would commit herself to saving her life. Helen's eyes shot open, and the first person she saw smiling down at her was Andrew. Aw, there you are. We thought you weren't coming back, Andrew said, giving Helen a hug. Can me and Alice have some time alone for a moment, Helen asked. You didn't just almost die. You just, bye guys. We'll meet later. Andrew nodded, and everyone left the room. Helen sat up against the wall, and she watched Allison sitting on the windowsill. She slumped over, head on knees. So, is that why you died? You can only think of the person who imprisoned you, and so you couldn't escape? Allison didn't move. I was the first one to be chosen to help fix the cursed ones. Lies! It's not true. Don't listen to this. Spoiler alert, Allison never became one of the chosen. I had met Troy first, and he had seemed so sweet. 2 months later, we were married. Wow, 2 months. But that night, he captured me. I found out that the village had been cursed by him. He's nothing but evil. Each time we did try to save everyone, he found a way to stop them. Alan and Kat had been married. Lies. They even had 2 children, but Troy had destroyed them. When you had met me, I would have destroyed you. I had been so angry at everyone, but when I saw how afraid you were, I remembered that I had been scared and alone like you at some point. The man I loved had betrayed me. He called me Alice all the time. Tears ran down Helen's face. So all the men in the castle are under Troy's control, she asked. Yes, Allison whispered. Anyway, so that is the end of chapter 7. I think that the picture that Alan had and that they were fighting over previously in one of the previous chapters was a picture of Alan's family that had cat in it, but I can't be sure because I wrote that so long ago and there's no real explanation to whatever that picture was, but that would be my guess. But anyway, so that was fun, but as bad as always. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Wait until next week for chapter 8. The search continues, but where to now? So hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye!